All right, gang, it's Throwback Thursday. Let's see your throwbacks. Let's see those videos from yonder, from before. I've got one that I guess this could be a throwback. It's from last year, or not last year, earlier this year, March 2019 and August 2019. But I'm going to give it to you now because I didn't know about this story, which I'm sure some of you didn't. It comes out of Salt Lake City, so there's probably many of you, maybe on the East Coast or farther Midwest, that probably didn't even know this happened. But the thing that gets me is how this bitch keeps driving a police car. I'm surprised she's not a bus driver. You're going to look at something here, and some things just make me go, what the fuck? Now, after I do this editorial, all bootlickers are welcome. Come, bootlicker, defend her and say, well, come on, she's a good cop. I'd hate to see how she handles a firearm, the way she handles a friggin' car. But I'm going to do the editorial, and all you beautiful police supporters are going to go, you're a dick. Why are you treating her like that? And the reason I'm really appalled by this woman being a patrol officer is because she can't handle a freaking car. And now she's killed somebody. Well, I won't say she killed somebody. Somebody died under a car she was driving. That's all I'm going to say. We're not really accusing her. But this bitch don't need to be driving. I'm sorry. And you're going to find out why I'm kind of upset by this when I do my editorial. So let's jump into it. Going to Salt Lake City, Utah. Coming to us from KSL.com. KSL.com, which KSL is also Channel 5, and they have KSL Radio. But we've got it here as an editorial. Thank you to Pat Reevy of KSL for this story. March 22nd, 2019, which says this: a unified police officer accused of running over a woman lying down in a parking lot while responding to a call has a history of poor driving, according to police records. About 10:50 p.m. on March 5th, a unified police officer was dispatched to conduct a welfare check on a woman in the parking lot of a strip mall at 3304 South 2300 East. The officer drove into the lot but did not see the woman, who police say was wearing dark clothing and lying in the middle of the road. Sandrea Simone Europe, 25, of Georgia, died. Europe had been living out of her car until it recently was towed. She had been spotted sleeping in various parking lots in that area in the week leading up to the accident, and it was not known whether she died as a result of being hit by the car or if she had already deceased prior to police arriving. Salt Lake police are investigating the incident. As of Friday, Officer Megan Franklin remained on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. That was back in March. Franklin is new to the Unified Police Department. You're going to find out why. And that was in March, of course. All this was taking place in March of this year, earlier. But according to documents obtained by the Deseret News, through a public records request, she had resigned from the West Valley City Police Department after she was placed on a week's leave without pay for consistent traffic violations. Former West Valley Police Chief Lee Russo wrote in a letter to the officer, "Your driving history reflects a poor pattern of attention to proper driving tactics, and this has contributed to an unacceptable number of preventable accidents on your part." The letter further noted that the officer was involved in an excessive number of preventable accidents and that several disciplinary actions appear to have little corrective effect in changing your driving behavior, the letter says. Franklin, who had previously been suspended for 30 hours, was issued a 40-hour suspension without pay, and that's when she submitted her letter of resignation. In October of 2017 was when that was. And now, of course, she's with the Salt Lake City Unified Police Department. She wrote in her letter of resignation, "It's not my first choice to resign, but I do it for the good of the department and myself." Well, for the good of the community, too, if you're out there driving a friggin' car and you can't drive. According to the disciplinary orders issued by West Valley City, the officer, while working for the department, we're going to get to this in a second, but it said up above, I read it and I caught it right away, that it said they don't know if Europe was already deceased and laying in the roadway or died of the accident. There's another story. I don't know if it's the one on the Salt Lake Tribune, which I'm going to reference also, but I think that's it. I'm going through it real quick, but I'm putting two links in the description box below, one from KSL.com, the other from Salt Lake Tribune. That might not be it. There's like 3 or 4 different stories I've read on this. I had to pick the right links for you all because a couple of them are those where you're like reading it and then it jumps back to the top every time you're trying to read or it pops up. So I wanted to give you a couple of stories that don't do that. But one of them said that when she hit Franklin, when Franklin hit Europe with her patrol car, the first time, says that she thought she had hit a trash bag or some snow, so she accelerated to get over that and drug Europe 45 feet. She said Europe was wailing about in severe pain and crying out for her life when Franklin drove over her a second time, and then she was deceased. So here in the KSL.com story, it said, they didn't know if she was already deceased. No, she was hit. And then there's another story. I don't know if it's one of the two below, but I read it where they said Europe was flaying about in severe pain and Franklin went over her a second time. And it also said that she was quoted as saying, Franklin, that she accelerated the patrol car because she thought she hit a bag of trash and then got out to see what she hit after the second time she drove over her. I don't know. And accidents happen. You know what? I might be too cynical on this. I might be acting too harsh. I apologize. I'm kind of jaded on this one, and I'll tell you why, because I'm about to go through a list of traffic violations that this cop had at West Valley City Police Department, and then she resigned because she was on suspension without pay and said, well, fuck y'all, you ain't gonna pay me, and then went to Salt Lake City Unified Police Department and killed someone with her car. Not murdered, we're not going there, but she hit them with her car and they died. Should she have even been in a patrol car? We'll find out right here. According to disciplinary orders issued by West Valley City, the officer, while working for the department, hit a rock with her patrol car while making a U-turn on April 10, 2010, causing $858 in damage. July 26, 2010, she was involved in an accident while making a U-turn. March 22, 2012, was issued a letter of reprimand for driving at least 90 miles per hour in the express lane on I-15 in her patrol car and weaving in and out of traffic even though she was not responding to a call. Well, they do that all the time. August 29, 2013, she hit a construction barrel with her patrol car. Did she not see that? Gee, what was that? As water's flying everywhere. November 8, 2014, while in her patrol car, backed into a light pole. Now that I kind of get. No, I get, because when I was in animal control once, I had to back up, and I was looking, and there was a huge tree here, and then 2 trees over here, and then this guy had a mailbox, but the mailbox post was all brown. It was wooden. And I saw the trees, and I said, well, I'm not going to hit the trees, and I was backing up. I hit the mailbox and knocked it over, only because I thought it was part of the tree. And I said, well, I'm not going to hit that tree. I didn't hit the tree, but I hit the mailbox that was in front of the tree because it was camouflage. So the light pole thing I get, but let's move on. February 24, 2015, the officer took her eyes off the road to look at her computer screen. Now, I've already had a bootlicker that told me, come on, cops have to multitask. They have to. It's part of their job. Not while they're driving. Jesus, Lord have mercy. And she rear-ended another vehicle that had stopped. The officer's head hit the windshield in that incident because she was not wearing her seatbelt. How many violations can we get in one? According to a letter from the chief's office, for this incident, she was given a 30-hour suspension. 30 hours. 30-hour suspension for not wearing her seatbelt, looking at her computer screen, and slamming into the back of a stopped car. 30 hours suspension. That's 1 day's pay. 1 day and a half. Fucking really? The officer was also disciplined for inadvertently leaving her body camera on her uniform while doing laundry, damaging the body camera beyond repair, according to a letter from the chief's office. And finally, other incidents include twice hitting a concrete curb with her patrol vehicle. I do that all the time. Oh, shit. And not showing up for a preliminary hearing in court after she was subpoenaed to testify. We don't do that. We go to jail. She don't do that. Well, that's part of her job. Bad baby. Hey, you need to go to your court. The incident that led to a 40-hour suspension occurred on May 6, 2017, when she drove over large rocks, causing damage to her patrol car. That was the 7th preventable at-fault traffic accident you have had in your 8 years of service, according to the chief's letter. Unified Police had no comment on Friday, other than to say they are waiting for the outcome of the investigation by the Salt Lake City Police. Well, in August of this year, that occurred as Unified Police officer with history of hitting large objects with her police cruiser won't face criminal charges for running over and killing a woman who was lying down in a parking lot. Since Officer Megan Franklin was unaware that 23-year-old, didn't they say 25 in the other story, I think, but that Cindrea Europe was lying on the ground in a dark parking lot on the night of March 5th when she was investigating a report of a man down. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill reasoned Franklin could not be held criminally responsible for hitting the woman. I kind of get it because she may not have seen her. I'm going to get back to that in a second. In a letter sent to Salt Lake County Sheriff Rosie Rivera and Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown on Friday, Sim Gill said he weighed whether or not he could charge Franklin with reckless conduct or criminal negligence. Gill ultimately decided he could not because both charges require Franklin to be aware of the potential risks of her conduct. And he believes Franklin was not because 911 dispatchers apparently never told her to be aware of it. LaToya Mack, Europe's mother, said, as you can imagine, me and the family are completely devastated. What must the burden of proof be when a dead body doesn't justify justice? Mack said she's planning to file a lawsuit against Unified Police Department, Franklin, and the 911 dispatchers. There's more to this story. It goes on and on and on. I'm going to put both stories in a link in the description box below. I don't know that we can criminally charge this cop for this. It's nighttime. It's dark. She wears dark clothing. She's laying in the middle of the parking lot. I kind of get all of that. I've almost hit people here in Yucaipa only because you get these people in dark clothing and they just like walking down the sidewalk and they go, oh, I need to cross. And you go, whoa, dude, what the, so I get that part, like that she didn't see her. What bugs me is this cop has a history of hitting things with her patrol car, not wearing a seatbelt, typing on her laptop while she's driving and hits a car that's stopped in the roadway. And here she is still in a patrol car and somebody dies. She should have never been in that patrol car to begin with. And I don't know if it's the Salt Lake Tribune story or one of the stories I read this morning said West Valley City did not tell Salt Lake City about her driving record, and they never asked. She's applying to be a patrol officer with the Unified Police Department, and they never asked about her driving history. They never asked about previous employment. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe I would need to look at the job application she filled out. But one never told them, and they never asked her about her driving, I guess. I don't know. But so Unified Police Department did not know she had all those things going on with West Valley City. And now they know because it's all in the news. But that's what I have a problem with is this bitch in a patrol car. and somebody ended up dying. But what it gets me too is how they're saying, well, she can't be at fault because 911 didn't tell her everything. And as a cop watcher and First Amendment auditor, I've experienced that where a cop comes out and all of a sudden you're guilty. You did this because they said you did this. And you say, I didn't do that. No, I got it on camera. Okay, well, we don't always get all the information when dispatch gives information. Okay, so you just go out and accuse people because, well, dispatch told us that. Well, that's what we got from the 911 call. Well, that's what they told us. Oh, so, okay, that's got to be true, right? And I'll give you a living example. I stayed on the sidewalk the whole time doing a First Amendment audit. And the people that called the police said, yeah, he came up here. He was trying to get in the building and our security guard had to close the door and he started banging on the door trying to get in. And we had to tell him, we're going to get you, call the police on you if you don't go away. I was on the sidewalk the whole time. And when I told, the cop came out and accused me, he goes, didn't you go up and you were banging on the door trying to get in, right? And I said, no. What the fuck are you talking about? I've been on the sidewalk the whole time. Oh, well, that's what they told me. Yeah, and then I got that, and that's what the call was I got. So it's true, because that's, and my point is, law enforcement officers never, ever, ever, ever want to take responsibility for their own actions. Never. It's dispatch, 911. Well, the reporting party told me that. Well, that happened. And well, this. And well, you were out here doing this. So I assumed. Well, it's never, oh, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I got it wrong. It's never that with law enforcement officers. It's always, he did it. She did it. He did it. She did it. She did it. He did it. Never, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. I got it wrong. I fucked up. Let's start over. It's never that. I don't know. Do I find fault with this cop in this particular incident? Any one of us could have hit that poor woman in the road, dark clothing, nighttime, laying it right there in the middle of the roadway at the mall. We're looking for the person. And then oh crap, I just hit something. What was that? But if you hit something like trash or whatever, would you accelerate to get over it? Or would you go, oh, what the hell did I just hit? Because she says in one of the stories she accelerated because she thought it was a bag of trash or a pile of snow, and she accelerated to get over it. I don't know, guys. I'm just doing the editorial. You have to make the opinion. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about it. Thank you, Throwback Thursday. I got to move on. I'm going to have another editorial for tomorrow. Even though I'm off, I'm going to have an editorial for you on Friday. Have a great weekend, guys, because today is my Friday. And I will be talking to you much later. Community Leo Watch. That's law enforcement officers that I watch every day in the community across this nation. And I am going to keep you accountable and transparent. Thank you.